That's tricky. It's, I mean, we were inspired to try to tell a story that imagine what the next chapter of the human story might be. We'd grown up watching, you know, the Super 8 film strips of the Apollo missions to the moon. And when we were kids, there was this sense that of an imminent step in the human story, that we would be stepping out in the stars, and that's not exactly what's happened. You know, we've sort of retreated into our smartphones and these sort of more introspective technologies. We were excited to try to take a look at what might happen when you might imagine a moment in human history in which we were forced to think again about stepping out into the stars and trying to find a new home out there. It's tricky. I mean, we've always tried to build ambitious stories. You know, I feel like my job as the screenwriter is to pack as many ideas into the script as possible, and then Chris takes a few out and streamlines it a little bit. But for us, especially with this project, with the ideas being so lofty and the science playing such a big role in the film, we felt like the best way to structure the film would be to center it around a story, a fairly simple story of a man and his children. When I started working on the film, I didn't have kids, and now with the film being released, I have a little girl myself, almost a year old, and so it hits me now on an emotional level that it didn't quite when we started working on the project. But you know, at the center of all of these, you know, these big scientific phenomena, I was struck that in all of the sort of thought experiments that Einstein did in trying to understand and then express to the rest of us his theories of relativity, that there were always people at the heart of it. It would be a person in a spaceship traveling close to the speed of light and another person staying home. And I was always struck by that in all of these stories, there's always a separation. And the most acute separation, of course, is from, you know, parents and children. It's a trick. I mean, you know, movies are often about adversity and a character's journey. But this film was really more than anything else about the paradoxical nature of the human spirit. You know, we love our families, we hate being separated from them, but we also want to achieve and strive and explore. And that's been essential to the human animal from the very beginning, that kind of paradox. It's accurate to a point. There are some flights of fancy in there as well, but hopefully they're all grounded in good science, in the sense that all of the things illustrated within the film have been thought through and sort of examined for the way that you might experience them if you were on this journey yourself. The idea of a wormhole, one of the things I found so fascinating about the concept of wormhole is its very existence would imply that an advanced intelligence had put it there. So if we encounter one, unlike a black hole, which is another celestial object that's featured prominently in the film and that I became very, very, very interested in, unlike black holes, which do occur naturally and are out there in the universe, wormholes are a bit of a flight of fancy, but they represent they pose a great question. If you found one, you'd know that something or someone was trying to send a message to you. The science is all grounded in our collaboration with Kip Thorne, who's an absolutely brilliant physicist and was a great partner in creating the screenplay for this film and the visual effects for the film. A great partner throughout. And Kip's specialty is, you know, gravitational astronomy, which is the study of very, very large objects. And there are few people in the world who know more about wormholes than Kip Thorne. And so we based those sequences on Kip's theories about wormholes. One of the great things about working with my brother is that, over the years, there's a track record of films that people have enjoyed that contain challenging ideas and challenging stories. We've always believed that the audience. We've always believed in not underestimating the audience, which seems to be such a phenomenon these days. But trying to build films that challenge people and ask them to lean forward and into the experience. And there are ideas in this film that, frankly, require a little bit of explanation. I spent a couple of years trying to understand relativistic, time differentials across the event horizon of a black hole, and it creates a great human story at the heart of it. But these concepts are inherently unnatural. They don't relate to anything that we'd experience here on Earth. So sometimes you have to spend a little bit of time explaining them, but the audience doesn't seem to mind. Well, from the beginning, we always felt like we loved films that just gave you a little bit of an extra dimension to them. It's great fun. It's different on every project. On this one, I began working on the film many years ago now, and collaborating with Steven Spielberg, who's the original director attached to it. And then there came a certain point where it's very, very natural to partner with Chris on this one. We've been making movies about space since we were little kids. Or rather, I've been tagging along while he made movies about space. And it's a fun collaboration. I'm often working on the next thing while he's off shooting the last thing. So we have more of a serial collaboration in the sense that I'll write the first draft, he'll come back and take his pass at it, and then we go shoot it. Not big believers in message movies. I don't presume to teach anyone else any valuable lessons about anything. We're first and foremost entertainers, hopefully, and storytellers. And I think the one thing that you'd keep from this is that there are many aspects to the human, to the human animal, and all of them on some degree are valuable. This love and unyielding sense of connection that we have to our families, but also this urge to explore and push out beyond the bounds of what we already know. And I think that's a very important impulse.